Candace Owens does not give factual information. She doesn't come across like she's someone that's very well learned in a myriad of topics. Just the fact that she can't define nationalism for me was enough. But then turn around and prove that she knows nothing about airplanes because she doesn't understand how the black boxes in airplanes work or what UTC stands for. So these things that to me are very basic. And even if you don't know it, you research it. You take time to research it in Google. But you're talking about something complex as, lawsuits and court documents. That just takes a level of understanding, and it takes a lot of research and reading to understand the lingo, the legalese, to be able to translate it to the average person so that you can, relay what it's about without it being overly complicated. And that's what Piers Morgan was trying to tell her, And he said, I went to school for this. I learned how to do this in school. That's a part of my education. And she's just sitting there being mad about it, as opposed to saying, you know what, you're right. I mean, I do understand it. No, she throws a little tantrum like a child. So we're going to check this out, and then we're going to laugh at it. And then we're going to get to the other video where she lied again about having 2 degrees.
You're pretending that I'm the one that promulgated this. In fact, it was 3 journalists in France that worked on the story for 3 years,
right.
And they teamed up with genealogists and they came across, and it was absolutely fascinating. I read the entire report, and everybody watching this, rather than listen to Piers Morgan giving you a bunch of adjectives, ridiculous. It's awful. I can't believe that she's saying this. Why don't you go pursue a primary source? Why don't you go find the articles that were written by French journalists? Because this did not come from me. This came from French journalists. And while they were working, let me finish the statement, Piers.
Okay.
While they were working on this piece, the Macrons sent their secret service to interrupt this. This is a normal thing that you do when somebody's about to publish a lie. You would just say it's ridiculous, publish it, and we'll dispute it. They sent the secret service to intimidate these journalists. They took their phones, they held them, they wanted to know everyone who was working on the piece, and what they uncovered was absolutely fascinating. What they uncovered was the fact that Brigitte Macron, who alleges that the person that they are saying is her is actually her brother, who's never been seen and who they never produced, that Brigitte Macron was with this man for 30 years and then transitioned at the age of 30. So he's trying to tell you this is crazy, this is wacky. Why don't you just go pursue a primary source?
Well,
I'm not the primary source. It would be very easy to dispute this. All Brigitte Macron would have to do is produce a single photo of her in the first 30 years of her life.
Oh, okay. When she did that, Candace Owens said, nope, not good enough. How about I have my doctor come fly out, take a little blood. We'll take care of this real quick. No. See, here's the thing, Candace. No one owes you a damn thing, girl. Oh, no. No one owes you that. But yet, his whole point is, you're not first-hand source as far as this information. Because you're not. You didn't do any research to try to actually prove whether or not, Brigitte Macron was born a man or had a sex change. And then you say that the brother wasn't produced. They show photos of the brother alive and well in the same space with Brigitte Macron at the same time at events. So it baffles me. Like, if you really want to know if this man's alive, why not just do an interview with him? Why not offer to do an interview with him separately? But she didn't do that. So, I mean, you can imagine like that Piers is having to sit here and listen to this heifer try to degrade him and his education. It's just hilarious.
Yeah. Go on a little walk with her brother, who she alleges that she is not.
Show me the proof Donald Trump isn't transgender.
There's tons of photos of Joe Biden.
I think Donald Trump was born a woman. Show me the proof.
Okay, there are tons of photos of Trump 20 years ago on Oprah. What are you saying?
There's a mother.
It's 30
yourself.
Years of living. Just show a photo of yourself. We don't need to be debating it. Just show a photo of yourself.
And as a mother yourself, you have no qualms about the hurt that you're causing her kids with this kind of claptrap.
Not at all.
I mean, please stop with the sensitivity. You've decided that you want to.
Wow. Please stop the sensitivity. Candace, you are a soulless demon from hell, and I want you to know that.
Okay, there are tons of photos of Trump 20 years ago on Oprah. What are you saying?
As a mother,
it's 30
yourself.
Years of living. Just show a photo of yourself.
And as a mother yourself, you have no qualms about the hurt that you're causing her kids with this kind of claptrap.
None.
I mean, please stop with the sensitivity. You've decided that you want to lead a country, okay? Honesty is demanded. More journalists should be prodding into the story internationally to see what's actually going on here, because at best, you have a perverted story that, in my view, leads way too closely into pedophilia. Just the story of how they got together is weird. You have a allegedly gay man, the person who's had gay affairs with him has spoken out, talked about the drugs that he has done with Macron, and you have these two people who are utterly demented leading the state of France. That, my friends, is how you stand on business, okay? You're not going to
No,
gaslight
it's
the
not.
public.
Where's the evidence to prove that Brigitte Macron was born a man or had a sex change, Candace? Where's the scientific evidence that you know you need, Heifer, because you asked for the blood of the first lady? You did. On your show. I have my doctor come fly out, take a lot of blood. We'll be done with that real quick. Like a robot. You have no soul. Y'all looking behind these eyes. I promise y'all, these freeze frames are epic. Lord, we thank you, because I just hit pause. And it's just always the right freeze frame. Look behind these eyes. It looks black. You don't even see like the white area of the eyeball. Just blackness. This is scary. Candace, you are very soulless. You are soulless.
I saw this clip actually, and I can't find it on the internet, but it was just the Tate brothers, and they were talking about how wrong all of the experts and all the scientists were on COVID. So how is it possible that so many people from the wrong side of the tracks, the Tate brothers, Candace, Owens, got it right on COVID, not the experts? And what they implied is just all you have to do is live a little, right? A little bit of street smarts goes a very long.
Yeah, never mind science and, research and biology and chemistry that goes into this stuff. Never mind that.
Way, all these people and their degrees. Do they have street smarts? Have you lived a little? Is it a normal thing if somebody is working on a story alleging that you lived as a man for 3 years? If someone right now called and said, the Daily Mail is working on an article that you lived as a man, Candace, for 30 years. Do you think I'm going to call the police and the FBI to get involved in the story? Using the arm of the French Secret Service to go intimidate the journalists, to hold them in a cell, take their phones, ask who else is working on the story. That does not make me think that you are innocent. That's nonsense. I would be like, publish this.
No, but you haven't produced any scientific evidence either. Because even if you have street smarts, everyone knows you need blood, you need DNA to determine whether or not someone's genetically born a man or a woman. That's genetic. That's not a matter of your opinion. That's based on science, Candace. Something that you obviously failed because you damn sure didn't go to college for it. And according to you, you didn't finish. And I'm still waiting on the verification of the 2 degrees you thought you got in another lifetime, maybe. Maybe it's in a different reality, some alternate reality where you've lost your mind, where you think you have 2 degrees.
Story, so I can debunk it, because you just don't go 30 years without having your photo taken. You just don't go 30 years plus saying that you've had 3 kids without having your photo taken. It doesn't work that way. Okay, I'd say, here you go.
They sent wedding photos of her getting married. They also sent photos. They sent the birth announcement. They've sent several photos. She doesn't have to give her every single picture of her life. No one owes her that. And the expectation of that is so unrealistic. It's appalling. It's appalling to think that Candace is supposed to know what photo the First Lady of France took for 30 years of her entire life. Just so she can sit here and say, oh, okay, I guess I'm convinced. Yeah, okay, now keep that energy up here for when you go to court. Keep that energy up. Why did you and your attorneys file a motion to dismiss? Why did you do that? Because I thought you wanted to have subpoena power and to be able to go in and get to the discovery phase. Why even file a motion that could even be indicative of you trying to dismiss it? Candace is a clown.
Here's my high school yearbook, my middle school yearbook. Here's me as a baby. Here's me with my family. Here is a litany of photos that you can look through to establish the fact that the person who published this article is an absolute kook. But they aren't doing that. What they're doing is they're getting the media journalists to say, oh, it's so crazy. I remember Barry Weiss actually tweeted from the New York Times and pretending to be independent. So crazy that she said this about Brigitte. Stop using adjectives to describe people who have common sense. Okay? Present the proof. You should be.
Oh, no. Present proof? Oh, okay. Is that, you should learn not to challenge the Lady Luck Club. Yeah. Don't ever challenge us, girl. Because we want you to present proof. As a matter of fact, I dare you to present proof that Brigitte Macron was born a man when your ass goes to that motion to dismiss hearing. Yeah. Because you're going to have a court hearing for that. I wish you would present evidence, scientific evidence, to prove that Brigitte Macron was born a man. Please present it. That way we can all see it. And then whatever goes to the court records will be made available to the public. Please let that happen, girl. We're daring you. We would love to see that. Where are those 2 degrees again? Okay.
Should just say, Brigitte, one photo. And when they actually presented one photo, ended up being Brigitte's daughter, Tefan. Okay, there is a story there. The French people have been trying to get it out for years. And the fact that they are using the court systems to intimidate journalists is not a good thing. So, like I said, when they use these sorts of tactics, you have to stand up to them. And of course, this brings me to the last moment, which I just love so much, is when they've really got nothing left, they always do this appeal to authority. And Piers Morgan wanted to remind me that he has degrees in journalism. He is a reporter, a real reporter. And who am I? Take a listen.
Here's the difference between me and you. I've actually been a reporter for many, many years. You never have. When you say you report on these things, I can tell you no journalist who's an actual reporter would read a legal filing and then do a tweet which states as fact in their own words, he's not in jail because he's a Fed CIA asset. Can he try to overlook? That's not reporting on a lawsuit. That is stating your own personal opinion. And if you don't know the difference...
There's a difference. Thank you, Piers. Oh, my God. That's not reporting on the lawsuit, Candace. You're bad at this. Candace Owens, farmer, is bad at journalism. She's bad at it. If for nothing, all she is a gossip columnist. That's it. You got a podcast where you gossip, run your mouth. You sit here, you weaponize the death of Charlie Kirk for 12 weeks straight. You blamed everyone for being involved or having some involvement, including, and I do have the post of the young man that wore a green hoodie, and all of a sudden he's a target now. And it's like, this is what gossipers do. But people who pursue the truth, facts, and evidence are not afraid to abide by a law. We don't believe we're above the rule of law. We have respect for it. We understand what's in the lawsuits, what's in the court documents, or what they are. We don't add our opinions to it. I have to read these lawsuits and share this information or report on it with an impartial tone. I can't pick one side or the other. I can give my opinion on my thoughts of certain aspects of it, but not to where it's saying this is how it's going to end up because this is what I think. No. I've done nothing but challenge Candace Owens to present evidence to prove Brigitte Macron was born a man. Because that's what you need for the court case. You need that for court. You need evidence. They don't care about your opinion in court. They care about the facts, the evidence, and the law. It's a finding of fact, law, and evidence. That's it. The judge is not going to care about her opinion. Not even a little bit. You can say whatever you want to say, Candace Owens. Because at the end of the day, you still cannot tell those 5 million candy asses over there that you filed the motion to dismiss. You can't even tell them that. And if you were a true journalist, you would have reported everything that's going on with the case. Not just what you think and feel about it. You will report the facts. You would pull up the court docket. You would show people what's going on with the case. That's how true journalists report information. Go ahead, Piers.
Because you're not a reporter. I am.
Well, now we've arrived at your professionality. I guess, Piers, tell me more. What school did you go to? Tell me more.
I went to Harlow Journalism College in Essex, in England.
Well, then we better listen to you guys. You heard them. We got to trust the experts. And Piers has been a reporter and he went to a journalistic law school. And therefore, whatever conclusions he makes are the professional and the correct ones. And you should definitely.
Yes, it is. Because that's how degrees work. That is what happens when you get an education, Candace. You clown. That's exactly how it works. And the court will consider him to be an expert witness as well. You know why? Because he has those degrees. So this is the thing. When you don't understand how journalism works, you don't understand certain matters. You know, let's say he went to court and testified. They will consider him an expert witness based on his expertise in that field because he has the education and the degree to show that he has an expert knowledge of it. Because that's how it works, Candace. You're a clown, girl.
Definitely listen to Piers Morgan.
I do know the difference between reporting on a lawsuit where you're one removed from the contents of the lawsuit and stating something as fact. But I don't think you do because you've never actually been a reporter. That's my point.
Ooh. Woo,
And we said it
burn.
again. Say it
Once.
again.
And you should
Say it again.
definitely listen to Piers Morgan.
I do
Say
know
it
the
again.
difference between reporting on a lawsuit where you're one removed from the contents of a lawsuit and stating something as fact. But I don't think you do because you've never actually been a reporter. That's my point.
Ooh, woo, burn. You got me. You go, girlfriend. Girlfriend did get me. I'm going to start talking to you guys like that. You're not a reporter. Yes.
Girl. Well, why's it got to be girlfriend? He stated he said exactly what I just said. What's the difference in reporting the facts? You talk about a lawsuit, which is something you haven't done because you're not a reporter. It is a fact that you're not a reporter, Candace. That's a fact. You don't even consider yourself to be one. She considers herself to be an investigative journalist, and that's still laughable. But you don't consider yourself to be a reporter.
Has been a reporter and he went to a journalistic law school, and therefore whatever conclusions he makes are the professional and the correct ones. And you should definitely listen to Piers Morgan.
I do know the difference between reporting on a lawsuit where you're one removed from the contents of a lawsuit and stating something as fact. But I don't think you do because you've never actually been a reporter. That's my point.
Ooh, burn. You got me. You go, girlfriend. Girlfriend did get me. I'm going to start talking to you guys like that. You're not a reporter. Yes, you're not a reporter watching this show. You're not a reporter. But do you know about anything? You're not a reporter. Have you lived? Doesn't matter. I'm a reporter. I know things. I know how to read the lawsuits and what to do with them. And this, my friends, is why the mainstream media has fallen apart. Constantly speaking down to people, making assumptions about people.
Wait a minute. Didn't we just see the video of her speaking down to people who went to school to become a gender studies major? Yeah, see, Candace, you understand. This is why I'm the queen of this, girl. Because I played that video first for a reason. It highlights your hypocrisy. Now you want to sit here and get mad because he actually does have a degree. He actually went to an accredited school and he finished school. He graduated. And now you want to say he's looking down on you when you were looking down on those who went to college to study gender studies. You have no idea how just it's so funny to hear you say this after you got through looking down at an event, ironically, for Turning Point USA, at a bunch of kids who went to school. At least they got their degrees. Where's yours?
Well, talking about, I went to Harlow College and I've got a degree in journalism. Yeah, Piers, well, as a reporter, you should know that you probably shouldn't get all of your information from Wikipedia. I didn't take the bait. I didn't respond to him. But the facts of the matter are, I too also have a degree in journalism. In fact, I have more degrees than Piers Morgan does. I have a bachelor's degree in journalism and in English, and he just has one in journalism. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, which is why I didn't say it. But it is funny. He's a reporter. Lastly, and I think this really, I've got a degree in journalism. Yeah, Piers, well, as a reporter, you should know that you probably shouldn't get all of your information from Wikipedia. I didn't take the bait. I didn't respond to him. But the facts of the matter are, I too also have a degree in journalism. In fact, I have more degrees.
Okay, so what's the bait? There was no bait in that. And no one has to go to Wikipedia to get anything. I'm going to prove that. It's irrelevant. Whether you went to Wikipedia or went, wherever you went to get information, all of the information on the internet says you dropped out of college in your junior year because of student loans. So here she's saying, and this video is dated. This is a year ago, people. This is a year ago, where she said that she had 2 degrees. This is the first time she said this, but she never says what schools she attended to get these 2 degrees, what year she graduated, none of that. She gives no information for people to try to verify that. So let's go back just a tidbit so you all can pick up on how this is the first of 2 videos I'm going to show where she says she has 2 degrees and gives no further information.
Yeah, Piers, well, as a reporter, you should know that you probably shouldn't get all of your information from Wikipedia. I didn't take the bait. I didn't respond to him. But the facts of the matter are, I too also have a degree in journalism. In fact, I have more degrees than Piers Morgan does. I have a bachelor's degree in journalism and in English, and he just has one in journalism. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, which is why I didn't say it.
So you got 2 college degrees? Who does that? Who gets 2 college degrees? You go to college to get a bachelor's degree. Then you go back to college to get a degree in English, as opposed to majoring in one and minoring in the other. And you can get that done in 1 degree. What school was this from, Candace Owens? You got more degrees than he does. What's the name of the school you got these 2 degrees from? See, Candace knows when you put this stuff out here, people do look and follow up. You're talking about information from Wikipedia. Name the schools in the year you graduated, girl.
Media. I didn't take the bait. I didn't respond to him. The facts of the matter are, I too also have a degree in journalism. In fact, I have more degrees than Piers Morgan does. I have a bachelor's degree in journalism and in English, and he just has one in journalism. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, which is why.
Yeah, no, it does. Because you're saying you have these degrees and you're looking down on college kids who went to college and they got a degree in gender studies. And now you're trying to compare yourself to him who actually is trained and educated in being able to report on lawsuits and court documents, something that you don't understand because you didn't go to school for that. He said it, he studied investigative reporting in journalism and took law courses in being able to understand these lawsuits. He took legal courses for that. You're trying to belittle it. So let's go to the second video. That was the first one.
$50,000 in student loans.
Okay. This is the second one. This one was just 5 days ago. All right. And y'all, of course, I always, it's timestamp it.
Federal rights. Love you, Candace. Please.
So this is the second one where she says again, she has 2 degrees and still failed to give the name of the school, the years that she received those degrees, and any evidence to show it. Wouldn't she have those degrees hanging on the back of the wall back there? If she had degrees, people who have those degrees like that, especially if you're, you consider yourself a journalist and all this other stuff, wouldn't you just have the degree hanging on the back of the wall? I would. Wouldn't you all hang your degree on the back of the wall? That's so crazy to me. You got a degree in journalism and she didn't hang the degree on the back of the wall. And here she is with her own podcast. You can't make this up. And she's trying to compare herself exactly just to look better. You can't make this up. I would put mine on the back of the wall. My godmother just retired from being a magistrate federal judge, right? So a lot of the legalese and things that I understand, I can't just text and ask the questions. I also research information, but she has a Juris Doctorate degree. And she hung it up on the back of the wall in her office, in her chambers. When she was a judge, she had her own chambers and she hung up her degrees in her chambers. Why would you not hang up your bachelor's degree in journalism behind you? Why wouldn't you do that? I mean, it would be back there by that bookcase back there, just loud and proud. Like, that makes sense? So here's the second video where she lies like hell. Let me get up the captions. Oh, man, because it's the only way I can't take her seriously when she says things, and it's almost so hard to believe until you read it in the caption. All right, let's go.
People claim you don't have a degree, but I've heard you say you do. Please set the record straight. Yeah. The truth is that I grew up poor. I was the third of a family with 4 children. My mom didn't even graduate high school, actually. And my family didn't have the money to send me to college. So I took out a ton of loans, student loans, Sallie Mae loans. And then don't quote me on the year, but I think it was 2010, Sallie Mae had a big collapse. And they said, you can't go back for your senior year because we can no longer fund you to go back for your senior year. So I dropped out temporarily. And
okay, so the information that I have is that she was in school in 2007. Okay. So I think one of you all did verify the year that Sallie Mae collapsed. So can you all, and one of you confirmed the year Sallie Mae collapsed. Can you post it in the chat? Because it's not lining up with, she said 2010. Wasn't that 2008? Candace was in college in 2007. So I'm just confused. The timeline she gives is always wonky. And just pay attention. Listen out for the school and the year she graduated with these alleged 2 degrees.
then when I had my own money and paid off my student loans, which was something like $150,000 in student loans, which is absurd to me. Such a predatory system. You're literally preying on poor people. Disgusting. Okay. That's what usury is all about. Once I paid down my student loans, I re-enrolled to finish my last year. And so I have 2 degrees, actually.
What year? What year was this? She said once she paid her loans off, then she went back to school. But what was the name of the school? You re-enrolled. Now, naturally, if you go to a school, you drop out of it, and you say you re-enrolled, and you don't say a new name of the school, people are going to naturally assume that you're talking about the school that you dropped out of, right? So if it was the University of Rhode Island and you're saying you re-enrolled once you paid off your student loans, which was years later, by the way, that's why this timeline is so skewed. It was years later. Then wouldn't we naturally assume that you re-enrolled in the University of Rhode Island? But if it was after you paid those student loans off, and she claimed that it took her 4.25 years, and I'm going to pull up an article in a second where there's a journalist that goes through this on his Substack, and they go through every time she mentioned the education, the loans, and everything. We're going to see that next. But wouldn't you think you would just say, I went back in 2012 and finished it up in 2014, and I got a bachelor's majoring in journalism, minor in English? Like, how do you get 2 degrees like that from the same school at the same time? Who gets 2 bachelor's degrees from the University of Rhode Island? Is that possible? It was 2008. Okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you. Jen, how you doing, honey? Thank you so much. Satiric. Okay, cool. 2008. Thank you so much. Because she said she was in school in 2007. She lied. So she's saying 2010. So 2008 was the collapse. Significant changes 2007 to 2008. Exactly. So it's 1 degree, not 2. Thank you. So wouldn't you get one? You can only get 1 bachelor's degree, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. If you can get 2 bachelor's degree at the same time, let me know from the University of Rhode Island, because I didn't know that you could do that. I did not know you can, even if you re-enrolled and went back to the school. I had no idea you can get 2 different bachelor's degrees at the same time. I had no idea that was possible. Now, naturally, you can get a bachelor's degree where you major in one topic and minor in another. She said she came out with 2 degrees. Y'all see this? I just want you all to see that at the bottom. And so I have 2 degrees. That's what she said. Sally Mae collapsed, and it was split from Navient. Can you can double major, but can you get 2 bachelor's degrees? What school, what graduate year? Exactly. She never says. She never says the year. She never says the school. She never says the year. A double major still results in 1 degree. I thank you. I was like, what do you mean? You got 2 bachelor's degrees. She says she has 2 degrees. Y'all see this? She doesn't say I have 1 degree and I majored in journalism, minored in English, or I had a double major. She didn't say that. She said I have 2 different degrees. You can't make this up. You can't.
What else do we have here? TB writes, it's important to be enrolled to finish my last year. And so I have 2 degrees, actually. What else do we have here?
You can't make this up.